Guys ready to make some magic?
Of course.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Over here?
I'm always ready.
I already pressed the button, baby.
Yeah, I figured that.
You already know how I do. I get some motherfucker active, you heard me?
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, y'all. Out in the internet lands. What's going on? It's not that. Another episode of Not That Serious, the podcast.
Sure is.
Another week, you know what I mean? It's another episode of the greatest podcast in the history of the podcast world. The podcast Zeitgeist. Don't look that up because I'm not sure what it means.
I was gonna say I don't know if you use that right, but whatever.
No, I probably didn't use it right. What's going on, y'all? We're here. First of all, before we even say a word,
yeah, peep,
a mumbling word, we just gotta say R.I.P. condolences. Rest in peace to. It sounds crazy to even say it. Like, just
it hurts.
Rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, man, and also to Gigi, and to the rest of the people that died on the helicopter crash.
Yeah,
the Outer Belly family.
It was the Outer Belly
I'm sorry.
family.
I know.
I don't have the list.
I'm gonna look it up because they all.
Yeah, they all matter, of course.
They all matter.
All of them.
Yeah.
But so I'm gonna say all their names.
The pilot was Ira.
So, Alyssa Outerbelly, John Outerbelly, Carrie Outerbelly, Gigi Bryant, Kobe Bryant, Peyton Chester, Sarah Chester, Christina Mauser, and Ara Zobayan.
Yeah. So
rest in peace to all of them. Rest in peace to them. Condolences to their friends and family, all those that were affected by them directly. And
yeah, it was a rough one. That caught me by surprise for real.
Like, it did, and it's just like I was in a place because I know how often he uses helicopters and I know why. So as soon as the report came, I was like, yeah, he's dead. Because like most people don't understand when you're flying helicopters are made of 86 components, right?
Yeah.
If one of those 86 components goes wrong, the helicopter cannot.
It loses balance.
And it can't sustain flight.
Yeah.
Versus an airplane where you can have a multitude of things go wrong
and nothing will affect you.
Yeah. Most passengers don't even know that you have malfunctions in the air all the time. Yeah. You just don't know. Yeah. It's just like when you're driving your car and your check engine light comes on. People neglect that thing for months. It's the same thing. But with the helicopter, no.
Yeah.
But we're gonna dive into that by calling my roommate from college who I'm not gonna say where he works, but he's an air traffic controller, one of the busiest airports in the world. So we're gonna dive into the an ATC's view of the situation.
What exactly happened?
Yeah, because I know like a lot of people, they have been sending me things from like an aviator's point of view, and they don't really understand the lingo of the language. So that's why we're calling him, so we could hopefully bridge the gap on that. So here we go.
I imagine you nonchalantly said that airplanes have problems all the time.
Yeah, if I told you some
that actually just bothers.
Yeah, bro. Y'all about to get on a plane in 3 weeks.
That bothered the fuck out of me. Yeah, I can hear. That actually bothered me.
BJ.
What's good, man?
What's good, bro? So we got you live on here right now. Don't say. Obviously, we know that you're air traffic controller. You don't have to say where you're at because you just don't have to. But pretty much calling you. So because obviously me and you have been chopping it up since the accident happened, and we're pretty much just trying to give the listeners ATC and pilot lingo for dummies about what happened.
Hey BJ, how about my?
We're just two niggers just sitting here nigging it up.
Damn,
fuck us. Let's just dive straight into this shit. But what's good, BJ? I don't think. Do we meet in person before?
No, you never. You never got a chance to meet. But BJ,
what's good, fellas? What's good?
He's actually a huge basketball guy too. So,
who's your favorite team?
Orlando Magic. I'm from Orlando, man.
Okay, you get a pass. I was about to say, what the fuck?
Yay, Aaron Gordon.
We don't have to talk about that. We don't have to talk about that.
All right, man, no problem. All right, but Yeah, let's just dive into this because I know Corey's definitely been. As soon as it happened, Corey was kind of looking for information. So we definitely want to get all the type of information we can possibly get to kind of try to make sense out of what happened. Because I know when I'm on Twitter, I see like a bunch of diagrams, people talking all type of pilot lingo that doesn't make any type of sense. So if y'all can, like Corey said, like kind of dumb it down and just give us like a.
So we can learn something.
Yeah, so we can learn something and let people know what exactly went wrong. Because all we know is helicopter crash. Mountain, it was foggy. That's it.
I got you. So I didn't listen to the audio a couple times. I'm reading a transcript as we speak. Actually, I just want to say offhand, I'm like 90% sure it was the pilot's fault, just from everything that I've read, listened to the audio. So basically, from what I gather is they took off from Orange County. That's where the helicopter was based. That's usually where Kobe left from, Orange County, California.
Okay.
The weather wasn't too good. It's fog. Everyone knows what fog is. But in air traffic, there's when you fly on a normal commercial airplane, right?
Mm.
Yeah, there's two types of flight plans that you fly: IFR and VFI.
Okay.
VFR means visual flight rules. That's when the weather's nice. That's when a pilot can look outside and navigate to wherever he's trying to go.
You can actually see. Okay.
Yeah, usually they want about 10 statute miles.
Okay.
Exactly. So
what they're trying to say is a normal human being can see 10 miles.
Yeah, I got you.
Mm.
Yeah, so you're good, BJ.
All right. So like the weather, in order for you to fly what's called VFR, you have to have at least 3 miles of visibility, and the ceiling, which means the clouds have to be 1,000 feet above the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this case, the clouds were 1,100 feet above the ground, but he only had 2.5 miles of visibility, which.
So he was like pushing it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Technically,
so
he was unable to fly.
Yeah, technically.
Because he requested special VFR.
Exactly. That's the reason he was able to fly, because he was what's called special VFR.
Mm.
Now explain what special VFR is.
Special VFR is, like I said, so when you're VFR, you have to maintain about 500 feet away from all clouds when you're flying. Mm. Special VFR, it just makes those requirements smaller. You basically can navigate as close to the cloud as you want. You just pretty much can't go in them.
Yeah.
And he's in a
Quick
helicopter,
question.
which is
my bad.
Go ahead. No, you good, man.
When you do a cloud, is this above the clouds or below the clouds?
It actually can be both. So
okay.
So like, if you're flying right and you're VFR, like you have to stay 500 feet from the nearest cloud. Mm. But if you're flying and you see a hole, right? Like you just see a hole where it's clear, the airplane can climb through there, then he can cruise on top of those clouds also.
Yeah.
Which is what I believe he was trying to do.
In a helicopter.
And that is exactly what I believe he was trying to do.
That's what he was trying to do.
That's dangerous as fuck though, right?
Here's my thing.
It is, because you can't see what's below you.
Alright, so my coworker who just retired from United, he retired on the 7.6. What he was saying is the whole purpose of special VFR is where you're at, the weather's not good, and it's clearly fog, right? Mm-hmm. But the weather where you're going isn't bad. Like it's VFR where you're going. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
So where the camp was, or where Kobe's
where they were going,
the weather was fine, but just getting there was just a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
right?
It was rough.
Right. So what complicated was, first off, where he was flying at, the Southern California area is the busiest what's called terminal airspace in the world, right?
Makes sense.
So that's like, they talk about like how stuff leads up to an accident or stuff. Mm-hmm. This accident, it had pretty much everything went wrong.
Wow.
So where he was flying at is extremely busy, and when I'm reading the transcripts, he's talking to what's called Van Nuys Airport. Van Nuys is a little airport in LA where all the celebs leave and everything. Mm. So what happens is, in air traffic control, IFR aircraft have priority over VFR aircraft.
Explain why they have VIP over the VFR aircraft.
So IFR aircraft, that's when the pilot uses instruments in the cockpit to navigate around, right? So usually IFR aircraft. You can fly. You can be in good weather and still fly IFR.
Because every commercial flight is
I
IFR.
think you told me that before because everything is just on a radar, right? Like
Yes.
you're just
Right, exactly.
But 9 times out of 10, BJ and BJ will get to this. The IFR flights have priority over the VFR because sometimes
they can't see. That makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
That's why.
Exactly.
So,
That makes
so
perfect
you get like,
So
and
you want the planes that can't see or
have-
aircraft that can't see
you're gonna-
to get down faster.
you're gonna deal with them first
yeah.
before
So-
you deal with the ones that can.
Because
Exactly.
I saw people on Twitter saying, "Whoa, ATC had him holding for 15 minutes." And yeah, no shit,
Because he's
Sherlock.
flying,
He's flying VFR, and I.
Which means he's saying he can see,
but he
Yeah,
can't.
but he can't.
but he can't.
So
Damn.
and when I played
Fuck.
the audio for Tony, Tony's like, one, he sounds annoyed in his voice, and Tony's like people were complaining that like he was flying slow, then he would fly fast.
Who's
And
Tony?
Tony's my coworker.
Oh, okay.
Tony's like he's chasing VFR. He was chasing VFR the whole time.
So what you mean by that is he's trying to see.
Yeah, like he's
He's literally, like, trying to make
he's
sure.
trying to see, like he's trying to see.
So he's flying dangerously.
literally
already.
right. So I've been like literally talking to people who are in this world so I can gather information for this
Yeah.
podcast. My supervisor, he also works at CAE, and CAE is a training facility where they train pilots to go off in the world. This is like the last point before you get into that world, right?
Yeah.
And he was saying that, and that Sikorsky, that helicopter, when you fly too low, when you're flying really slow, the autopilot automatically cuts off. So it's almost like cruise control. Like
Yeah.
you can't use cruise control at 10 miles an hour
Yeah.
because you're not driving fast
Yeah,
enough,
you're
right?
not going
It's the same thing in a helicopter. And at one point, people were saying that the helicopter was just hovering. So it was just like I literally.
I'm about to say, I saw the diagram where it kind of showed like what the helicopter was doing.
Yeah.
It was like just like it's like there's like a circle.
No. He was holding. He was
So-
holding pattern.
Okay.
Also, I'm gonna interrupt you, Corey.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
that helicopter that it was flying on, right? So most airplanes, and now it's 2020. Most aircraft, I should say, they have something. They have an alert system on the airplane that lets you know if you're too close to terrain, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting too close, it'll tell you pull up, or you're too close. It'll tell the pilot whatever he needs to know.
Yeah.
That helicopter did not have that on board. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. A lot of this stuff fell in place for this accident to happen. The aircraft wasn't equipped with certain technology.
Yeah.
Is that due to the fact that because the helicopter's from '91?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
That plays a part.
I mean,
but that's
it's a part of it, but it's
was
not.
that old.
nah. But
Yeah.
that's not a problem because
Is that considered old in like in aircraft? Is that considered old?
Like
I mean,
to be honest, I would say no because all of the planes that
Yeah.
we fly to like go place and travel, they're all way older than that.
yeah,
So,
I'm
and I don't mean to cut you off, BJ, but
No,
that's
you good.
Sikorsky.
Yeah.
That's an executive jet. Like Donald Trump has the same helicopter.
Yeah.
The Coast Guard uses that same helicopter.
Yeah.
That's a $13 million helicopter. That's not like a $700,000 helicopter. That
yeah,
like
it's not like having a '91 Honda right now.
no, that's
Nah,
the equivalent
nah.
to like having like a older model Porsche. Like
Like a
it
silver
might,
Porsche.
yeah, like it's not like new, but it's still a Porsche.
Yeah, it's still gonna drive, yeah.
yeah, like no, that helicopter that Kobe was in, that's a celebrity helicopter. Like
Yeah.
so multiple
Exactly.
celebrities rent that because that's top of the line.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so what I got from it, like, I thought, and it's especially because, like, I'm getting advice from you, I'm talking to my coworkers, I'm talking to my boss, and they all say the same thing. Why are you requesting special VFR if you know the weather's that bad, right?
exactly.
And then I even showed you this, BJ. I also see people complaining that I'm gonna put this whole thing on ATC and this.
I saw people say that too.
And it's just like at the end of the day, you made a conscious effort to file special VFR. You didn't file IFR. And on top of that, while you were flying and you couldn't see, you didn't even call for an emergency to ATC to let them know that you couldn't see.
Here's a question.
Exactly.
Question: do either one of them get you to your destination faster? Like,
All right, so look,
is that what he was trying to? Was he trying to save time?
I think he was trying to save time.
Can I interject right quick?
Interject real quick, then I'll go after you.
So, I honestly believe this. I truly believe this, that the pilot probably, I heard that he's flown Kobe a couple of times to the same place, but I honestly think he may have been, intimidated, or he may have felt pressured, to get Kobe and the rest of the people on the helicopter to that.
And to the game, I believe.
Yeah, to the game. And me and you spoke about this, Corey. The pilots, you even said it. The pilots, they ultimately responsible for that aircraft.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you got a VIP in the back, you feel that pressure that you gotta perform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're in no way insinuating that like we was pressured into flying.
I'm not saying that either way.
Like, just the fact that of the nature you have somebody famous.
Yeah.
In your like passenger, you feel that pressure. Yeah. Maybe whether they put it on you or not, which we're not saying.
You feel that pressure.
You feel it because it's someone important in your car, and you probably want to just be efficient.
That's like having, like I was gonna say, like having like the baby in the back of a private Uber or something like that.
But it's raining.
Yeah, and it's raining, and he has a show in Philly in 20 minutes, and you're here in Burlington.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
Like, you're probably not gonna make it in 20 minutes, especially in the rain, but you're gonna damn try.
You're gonna try.
What I think happened,
that's crazy, man. That's so unfortunate.
What I think happened, I think they were running late, and I think he said, "I'm not gonna file an IFR flight plan because we don't have enough time." Because that also has to be approved. Right? Mm-hmm. So I think he's like, I'm going to request special VFR. I've done this route many a times. We'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
And it's just like...
And he was an experienced pilot. He's been a pilot for like 20 years.
Yeah, people got to stop discrediting this pilot. This pilot was an instructor. So he taught other people how to fly this helicopter. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, if you're a pilot flying a celebrity, you're doing that for a reason.
You ain't no rookie.
Yeah, you're not a rookie.
Exactly.
And 9 times out of 10, when you're flying something like a private jet or a helicopter and you're doing a celebrity of that magnitude, they request you. So they've liked the service that you've given. Yeah. So it's like this wasn't like this is like my first time, this is just some smoke. No, this guy was not only a pilot, he was an accomplished pilot. He was instrument rated. He could have requested this service, and that's like, not for nothing, that's almost the whole purpose of ATC. You can't see shit outside. Let them help you. Yeah. And it's just like, it's an unfortunate event.
So it wasn't due to any like technical difficulties?
No, the helicopter did its
Nah,
job.
the helicopter was fine.
Just an unfortunate.
It's just an unfortunate event. What I think happened, and I could be wrong, I think he slowed down. Because even like people were saying, like before they crashed, maybe like 90 seconds before they crashed, they were going like crazy slow. I think he slowed down. I think he gained altitude, flew. I think he realized that it was like a terrain. So I think that's when the sharp 180 came, and then he aggressively tried to climb. And I think that what happened with BJ, what's the word start with a V? You said he had it, like you can't see, and you have no
vertigo.
Yeah, I think he had vertigo. So he had no concept of, what was going on around him. Yeah. I think he did the sharp 180, tried to aggressively climb, and I think they just hit the other side of the hill.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like it seemed from what I saw, like I guess since the visibility was so bad that. Like he didn't realize how close he was to this mountain, and he just like
not at all.
Because at one point they were in a cloud, so you can't see anything. You can't, and
they said that he cleared a mountaintop by 20 to 30 feet. Man.
Exactly,
that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. And they said that when impact happened, they were going 184 miles an hour. They were moving for a helicopter. They were moving.
That is extremely fast.
That's extreme.
So that's because he was trying to pull up.
Yeah, he was trying to pull up, and he was trying to get over, but they just never. It wasn't common. I mean, that's a helicopter. It's not an airplane. It's not a fighter jet.
Yeah, a jet could have did it.
I don't know. It was a lot of.
Well, there's no way to tell how close he was.
But
when
I'll
he did
say
that,
this:
right?
it was a lot of mountain left. I don't even know if a jet gets that shit. To be honest with you,
I didn't see exactly where it hit.
It was a lot of mountain left. Like
it was he was down there. Man.
Real a jet crash.
What was his altitude when they crashed? Did they
know their altitude when they crashed, BJ?
It was like 11. It was like I want to say 1,400 feet,
Yes.
but the mountain that he crashed into was 1,700 feet.
Oh
so
my
That's
God,
what
he
I'm
wasn't
saying.
even close.
That's what I'm saying. They had a lot
Yeah.
of mountain left. That's what I'm saying.
Damn.
he crashed right near a street, bro.
Yeah,
like
no.
a street that goes up into the
Nah,
mountains.
Vlad said that he crashed 5 minutes walking from his house,
Wow.
and he could see the smoke.
That is.
Yeah, this is
Wow.
it's just I just think that like and I know that I don't want to like go off tangent, but like my supervisor, he's also a corporate pilot, and I'm not allowed to say who he flies for, but he flies for a multi-billion-dollar company, and we've all used it before, right? So he flies with that one. And he was saying that like he was flying into Aspen, and he was like the owner was like in such a hurry to land, but it was just a storm in the airport. And BJ will tell you because he just knows Aspen's already a hard airport to land in. So if you
one of the most difficult in the United States, man.
exactly, it's one of the most difficult. So if you're landing there in bad weather, it's like crazy.
Why?
Well,
I mean,
yeah, I was gonna
like,
say,
I don't want
why-
to go off, but this is mad interesting.
Yeah,
I see
why-
y'all
why
do
is
this.
Aspen?
Why is
Alright.
Aspen so hard to land?
Is it because it is a mountainous area?
Yeah.
So you got Aspen, right? Aspen. So
Rockies,
airplane.
right?
Yeah. So the higher the airport elevation is, Denver, the mile high city, Aspen, all that terrain is over a mile high. Airplane performance degrades as they get higher, right? So the airport itself is already high, which means when an airplane lands at Aspen, they're going a hell of a lot faster than they would, they're landing in Jersey or Florida, right?
Because they're already 5,000 feet above us.
Exactly.
Oh
The
my
runway is short, and there's
Oh,
mountains.
so they don't
there's
have
mountains
top
all the
outside.
way.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if they misjudge the landing and now they got to climb back up, you got mountains on all sides. You know what I'm
sides.
saying?
You have to take a special class to even land there. Like my
Exactly.
I believe it.
Yeah, my his boss had to pay for him. I think it's like a $12,000 class just to land at this airport.
Yeah, you got to pay. Not every pilot is trained to land at Aspen. You got to have special privileges
Yeah.
on your license.
Yes.
So, I know Corey, you told me this a while ago. A lot of planes do land themselves, right?
Like I want to say
Yeah.
about
But-
like if you look at like United, right?
Yeah.
They don't let their pilots land manually. It's
Yeah.
not the company
I
policy.
literally think that every time I'm in an airplane now from when you told me that. So, but when you go to Aspen, they can't land themselves, I assume.
I know Spirit let niggas land manually.
Yeah, I've landed a spare plane before.
Yeah, we've all landed. No,
They just hand you a DS, and that's how you control the
Yeah,
flight.
I did it with a PSP.
not at Aspen. I think it's like autopilot too. I
Okay.
think so. Like in the corporate jet that my boss flies, it's a fly by wire too. BJ, he knows what that means. Fly by wire is pretty much the plane is like a supercomputer.
Okay.
You kind of just give it directions.
Okay.
That's
It's like a
all-
Tesla.
It essentially. So like pretty much, it's kind of like it's not a yoke in front of you. It's on the side of you, and the yoke is designed. I don't know if you know this, BJ, but my boss was explaining it. The yoke on the side is designed that way so that all the pressure you do is on your fingers and hand. So he was just like, if it's turbulence and your body moves, your hand is still there, you're fine.
Yeah.
Versus, so like the passengers in the back don't feel anything.
Yeah.
Right? It's actually one of the most complex planes in the world. It's called the Falcon 7X. Crazy,
Yeah,
right?
Falcons, top of the line.
Top of the line, right? So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Off air, I'll tell you who he
This shit gets
flies
deep.
for.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm
Yeah,
telling you
yeah,
off air,
please,
right?
please.
So the guy is like pressuring him to land in this storm.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. So BJ, he had to divert. And they had to get more gas, and like my boss was saying, he was making this big deal. He was like, "Yo, you're still alive,
Yeah.
and your plane is still
Exactly.
and your plane is still intact." And like my boss is not he's from Canada, so like basketball is like almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
But he was like, from like the stories that I've heard about Kobe, he's a very like dominant guy. He was just like, when you're dealing with situations like this, you have to understand that he might be your boss.
But safety is always a priority.
Safety is always a priority, and that's your airplane at that time.
That's- yeah.
You're it's called PIC,
You're the boss.
pilot in command. And BJ, me and you went to the same college. As on their pilots, what do they harp on at all times?
That at the end of the day, you are responsible for the safe operation of the aircraft.
And not only that, and I'm not the biggest fan of Emmett Brittle, I'll say it, but they harp on their pilots. You have to be professional at all times because you owe it to yourself.
Yeah.
You owe it to your family. You owe it to the customer. You owe it to the clients that you're flying. In this situation, I'm not trying to like taint anybody's name. I just didn't think he was very. he was very professional. I think a lot of the decisions he made were very prideful, and it was like very, just very hot doggish. And it's just like I was talking to my boss, and he was just like, if that was me, I literally would have called ATC and said, I'm declaring an emergency. I need to file an IFR plan.
And the craziest part about this whole thing is my man's is in a helicopter. A helicopter, you can just stop where you at.
Yo, that's the craziest
you can literally like
thing.
just like
Why
just
you keep going?
You can
like, put that shit in
you can
park in the
literally
air
stop.
and just
Yeah,
drone
like
it.
it's not a
man.
747 where it
You
takes like
can't-
so much to move.
That's the part that got me, man. Because you could just stay where you at, man.
Yeah, you can literally
if you
just
can't
hover.
see, exactly,
Hover.
exactly.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, because if you can't see, it's not like you're ever like truly out of control like before he really was. Like if you can't see, bro,
And it's crazy because
put that thing in park.
they were experiencing like both sides of the spectrum. People were complaining they were flying too slow, and then
all of a sudden they're going too fast.
Yeah, it's that you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and it's not that he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
He just didn't know where he was at because he couldn't see. Like, and I just think you gotta bite the bullet and just say I'm filing for an emergency.
Yeah.
BJ will tell you
Yeah.
you now have seniority over every aircraft, and they get because like BJ, you can see the terrain on your radar, right?
Right. So
God damn.
what happened? So like I can see airplanes, right? And I get a warning if the airplane is too low. Like, and I can bring up the terrain and I can see the highest object in each part of my sector, right?
Yeah.
So if a plane gets too low, the shit on my radar would just start flashing. My whole radar would just start flashing, saying, "Hey, this dude is too low. You need to let him know. You need." And as with VFR guys, the thing about ATC and VFR, I have no control over VFR aircraft. I have control over IFR aircraft. So, per my regulations, I can't tell a VFR aircraft what to do. I can only recommend it, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, not for.
So if the aircraft is too low, I can say, hey, call sign, I recommend you climb to this altitude for terrain. But I can't say, hey, climb to this altitude for terrain.
Because they think you can see.
Yeah.
Exactly. The whole thing is your VFR, you can see out the window, you can navigate on your own. So my service is more of a compliment than a necessity.
Yeah.
So what I think happened is when he took off, he was in a very busy piece of airspace, right? He had to hold because the other two airports that he was close by, they had IFR traffic that has priority over him.
Yeah.
And while he was holding, the weather got worse. While he was holding, I honestly think he should have made the decision to return. But once he got the clearance from ATC to proceed, the weather, he proceeded to worse weather where he couldn't see. And I think complacency set in because he had done that route so many times that he probably figured, I know where I'm going. I've done this route several times. I can just basically wing it, right?
Yeah.
But I also, like I said before, I think having somebody with the personality, the magnitude of Kobe Bryant in the back played a part. This is a global superstar.
He don't need
me. This man, who knows how much money he pays to, operate these helicopters, and we're already late. So I don't think Kobe pressured him, but you can feel, he still probably felt pressure to get the job done.
Yeah, just his presence sitting in the back.
Exactly.
Exactly.
He probably didn't even say a word. Except how you doing? Hey, how you doing?
It's Kobe.
Exactly.
It's Kobe in the back. Like,
and I don't want to make him late for his game.
yeah.
Exactly. And he proceeded with the flight. He couldn't see. I think what happened was he was in and out of fog, and once he realized he was going so fast, a helicopter at that highest speed isn't that maneuverable, right? So he was in and out of the fog. He saw a mountain. He was able to clear. He tried to do a 180 because the terrain was just too high, and high speed impact, man, and that was it.
So when he did this 180, how did can you explain what exactly that means? So did he turn into the mountain or did he turn
no. What I think is he was headed towards one mountain and he cleared it, right? He cleared it by 20, 30 feet.
Yeah.
But once he got over that, he realized that the terrain was even higher on the other side, so he couldn't climb.
Yeah.
So since he already climbed over the mountain that he just cleared, he probably tried to turn around and just go back where he knew that the terrain was lower.
But what's the V word again?
Vertigo.
That vertigo took place.
Vertigo.
He didn't know where he was.
So like, vertigo is basically like, say you're in an airplane, right? You may think it's turning left, but it's really turning right.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I'm saying?
Any sense.
You lose all sense of basically motion around you.
Especially when you're flying for that long.
Yeah.
So I think what happened is he cleared that mountain. He saw the other one. He tried to do a 180 while he was climbing and lost control. He lost control of the helicopter and it crashed.
And it's crazy because people were complaining. It was one person said like that the helicopter was so low that the house was shaking. And I was like, bro, he was chasing VFR. He couldn't see. He was low as hell. I felt like he was trying to find a clear space for
any pocket,
long.
like just
any pocket.
Yeah, just let me see like anything.
I guarantee that last 10 seconds he was panicking.
Yeah, no.
He was panicking.
As you hear the ATC, like the audio towards the end, he started to get very like testy with the controller. Mm-hmm. He was getting frustrated. Mm-hmm. Even Tony, I was talking to my coworker. He was like, as the audio played, you could just see the confidence in his voice leave, and he wasn't even worried about ATC because he was so fixated on trying to find it clear. And it's like, and I know that because as a student pilot, I've been frustrated on cross countries because I'm lost, and ATC's like, well, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to you right now because I'm trying to focus on exactly.
And you got somebody in your ear.
And as soon as I listened to that, I took that same thing. I was like, that's what happened.
Exactly what. That's it. Exactly, man.
Now I see why ATC is such a stressful ass job,
bro. BJ, how long do you work at one time?
About you work anywhere from 40 minutes to I've seen people on position for an hour and a half.
That's it.
On one flight?
No, on your like when they can't work longer than that. They gotta take a break.
Just put it this way, right? I probably won't be done training till shit. Honestly, probably almost 2022. I'll be fully done with my training.
How long you been doing this?
A year. I've been in the agency a year, man.
Sheesh.
Yeah,
since 2019. So
there's some serious shit. Like I know it's one of those because I personally was looking into it, so I know it is one of those jobs where people don't leave. But I know like you're explaining now, it's hard to get into, and it's just so demanding. Like
like. They always tell us it's one of the most difficult jobs to learn, but it's one of the most easiest jobs to do. The train, I ain't even gonna front. The training is awful, man. Like because you're dealing with people's lives. I think you don't really think about that, but it's always in the back of your head.
Yeah.
So just for instance, when you're on an airplane, right? Mm-hmm. The way I think of it is. When you're on that airplane, right? You're just in that airplane, but
you're just there.
You're flying, but you got 40 people all around you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And for me, my job is to make sure that these guys don't get within a certain distance of each other. Mm-hmm. But what I'm doing, I also have to consider the weather outside. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If I can see bad weather on my radar, I'm not going to direct a pilot into bad weather. Mm-hmm. But I also got to consider how fast the wind is going at a certain altitude. Mm-hmm. I got to consider if there's VIP movements in the area, if I got military in the area. So it's a lot of stuff that you have. It's a lot of stuff that it's a lot of stuff you got to process, and you don't really have a lot of time. You got to be able to make a decision.
And so the training basically is so long, so you don't think it's all natural. It's like instinct.
Yeah, it's like muscle. It's like muscle movement. Now.
Yeah,
because even with your job is pretty much you're supposed to separate the aircraft, right?
Yeah,
that's what my job description is. Separate aircraft.
Wow. It sounds so simple, but it's
really not. It's really not. Like
even
as a person that's been like doing what I do at my job, working in aeronautics, it was even some things I had to pause the video and like I would have to ask BJ, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? So like it's a lot. But BJ, thanks for picking up the call, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's all love, man.
That was great. We might have to hit you up again because I feel like I have a lot of questions just about everything now. Like But yeah, we definitely appreciate all the insight. And everything
It's all
like that.
love, fellas. I tune in, man. So